how do we benefit from listening to our soul? What do, here's the ego. What do we get out of it?
Let me explain to you the ego of the personality and the ego of the soul, because I think that's gonna help. Okay, I always get mixed up with these two, but I'll get them. The ego of the personality, if a person finds himself constantly or more than not into this, is envy, gratification, and obsession. That's the ego of the personality. Okay,
mm-hmm.
And the ego of the soul is encouragement, gratitude, and observance.
Beautiful.
So if we're doing the ego of the soul and we're looking at that, then we know that we're moving towards a higher good.
Mm-hmm.
If we do the envy and the gratification and the obsession, we just stuck in the muck and the mire of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way of getting in touch with your soul, is to honor the ego of it and be aware of when our personality is demanding that we do the opposite.
So say the characteristics of the soul ego once again, because those are really important.
The ego of the soul is encouragement. So that's encouraging ourselves and others. It's being grateful for every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody smiles at you, be grateful they smile at you. Smile back. And to observe behaviors, ourselves as well as others, and look and see if they're doing it for their higher good or if they're doing it to hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning of getting it. That's a good way to start getting in touch with your soul. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it begins to, when you begin to integrate the encouragement and the gratitude and the observance, once you make that part of you, then you begin to integrate that energy, and then you begin to get in touch with the feelings and the healing, and you begin to integrate all of that. And when you know you're healed, you have a memory without the pain.
Absolutely. Wow. So very interesting, because those are some of the principles that, with beings visiting me, that I really got. The detached observer, and just, it's so important that we understand these three attributes.
Absolutely.
Really, really,
and to be aware of you can't serve two masters. So you have to pick which one you want to serve, the ego of the soul or the ego of the personality.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do both at the same time. You can't do judgment and compassion at the same time. You can only do one or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's really what it means, is it? To serve two, you can't serve two masters. So you're either going to serve the ego personality or the soul.
Right.
Ego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good way to be able to compare what energy you're in, and to bring in your soul's energy is to start being aware what ego you're responding to or reacting to.
So how could we bring in the soul's energy?
Just ask it to come in.
Three things.
Just ask it. Ask your soul to help you. Ask your soul to show you the encouragement, and you might find somebody that walks into their lives that think they're the greatest person in the world, see their gifts, and then help that person grow towards the gifts that they're supposed to be doing.
Mm.
Now, if it's somebody with a fear of rejection, they may take them a little longer. They may be afraid to say what they really think, because they might be afraid of being rejected by this very friendly person that's in their lives, or this very person that can become a mentor. If everyone could pick out a mentor, someone that they admire, ask that person to mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have the fear of rejection, of course. If they do, it might take a little longer. Then write it if you can't ask it. Yes. Yeah. Write it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Write it to the person if you can't ask.
You know, and it's so interesting. The fear of failure almost makes that ego personality want to be the perfectionist.
Well, it does, because what happens is when you have the fear of failure, nothing is ever good enough, and if you turn into a perfectionist, and if you feel not good enough, nothing is ever good enough. It's this vicious cycle.
Yeah, and, you know, very interesting, because that definitely is something that I have moved through in the last few years.
Right. And you come to a level of acceptance.
Yeah, absolutely.